All right, what's up, everybody? Houston Texans, you know you're loved on this channel. Look, we get it. We're Lions fans. We know we're Lions fans. If you have been part of this channel for any time, you know it too. We're not hiding it, but we love talking football, so that's exactly what we do. And one of the teams that we've been covering for over a year is the Houston Texans, and we love talking about them. And I am sitting here talking about how, yes, it makes sense that the Houston Texans are going to get back on track after a very unexpected, very lopsided defeat this last weekend. I expect them to get back on top of things. Ryans is not a guy who likes to lose 2 weeks in a row. It just doesn't happen. So we're not going to worry about it too much. And many people could argue that the Houston Texans are the sleeping giant in this matchup. But I'm getting here to tell you just for a second. Remember, non-biased, not so fast, my friends, because the Jacksonville Jaguars have looked like absolute garbage this year. I understand that. Trevor Lawrence has looked terrible. All right, trust me, I would know. I have both C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence on one of my fantasy football teams. Stroud's in all of them. But anyways, I have them both. Trevor Lawrence, he's on the bench this week. See ya. All right, Sam Darnold is playing. Justin Fields is playing over him. So that is one of those things. But I'm here to tell you why the Jags plan to shut up and show up against the Texans, and what the Texans can do to counteract this, and what that can look like. And first, what I want to do is I want to go back just a little bit. I want to go back here a little bit with the Jags for the last couple of years and talk to you and let you know what I'm talking about. In 2022, all right, in 2022, the Jacksonville Jaguars started off their season not good. They were 4-8. All right, they were 4-8. They got destroyed by the Detroit Lions. You can look at it down here. And then look what they did the rest of the year. All right, they won every single game. All right, they won every single game. I believe they even made the playoffs that year. All right, they beat Tennessee, Dallas, New York, Houston. I know. All right, that was a very different Houston team. Don't worry. And then Tennessee again. They go 5 out in a row to win all those games. They get into the postseason. They beat the Chargers on a crazy wild card game and then lose eventually to the Kansas City Chiefs in a tight fought game. What about 2023? All right, same thing. They start the year out 1-2, and then they go on an absolute tear, winning 5 games in a row, setting themselves up for all kinds of success, and then they just start losing every single game, right? And they don't make the playoffs. So here's what I'm telling you about the Jacksonville Jaguars. You are either going to get a team that is terrible, or you are going to get a team that is one of the best teams in the league. And when they play to their talent level, they are a phenomenal football team. So this year, when they start off the season 0-3, that to me doesn't tell me, oh, Jacksonville is hot garbage this year. What that tells me is, all right, when's Jacksonville going to start winning every single game? Now, I don't think it happens against Houston. I think they go to 0-4, and then I think they reel off 3 in a row right here, Indy, Chicago, New England. But this is something you have to be understanding as a Texans fan. When we listen to Doug Peterson, he said, listen, speeches are done. The speeches are over. We don't need any more rah-rah stuff. It's just time to go play football, fix the mistakes, and do everything we can to play our best football this weekend. Look, Houston Texans, you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You have C.J. Stroud. He's already proven that he is going to be a pretty consistent week in, week out quarterback, so you know what he is going to do. You do. You just know. All right, what you don't know is what Trevor Lawrence is going to do on the other side of the football. All right, Trevor Lawrence could go out there and he could play like he did the first few weeks this year, which is just absolute trash. I mean, seriously, it was really, really bad. Or he could go out and he could look like C.J. Stroud. Now, the Jaguars have all the pieces in place. However, there's a lot of injuries. So when you look at the game status, on a questionable tag, you have Gabe Davis. All right, you have Devin Lloyd. You have Jerrion Jones and Darnell Savage. Evan Ingram is out, and I think that is really affecting this offense. They don't think, obviously, his status is out, so he's not going to play. He changes things for how this offense run, and Alukin is out as well. All right, for you guys, by the way, interesting that Nico Collins was even on the injury report, but he got a full practice in, so that's really good. There's a lot of guys on this team that are there, but the statuses, Joe Mixon is questionable. I think you want him back, but you don't want to rush it. Again, Houston, you have a different mindset this year than it was last year. Last year, it's let's get people back as fast as humanly possible so we can just try and compete and win games, and then all of a sudden you found yourself in a playoff run. Okay, that's what happened. This year, it's we need to get people healthy for the playoff run. We need to get people healthy in the second half of the year and preparing to make the playoffs. This is a completely different mindset going into the year. So Joe Mixon, if he's questionable, I think if it's one of those things where it's like high chance of re-hurting that ankle, you keep him out. All right? Fadakasi, same deal. And then you already know Pierce is out, which is fine. Okay, it's fine. I would rather him in there. I would. But, if he's out, Cam Akers can be serviceable. Tank Dell being out last year would have been a bigger blow. All right? But now you still have two elite wide receivers, and you still have Robert Woods. You still have Mechie that are coming in there. There is a ton of depth, but Jimmy Ward being out raises some flags as well on the back end. So here's the question I have for you Texans fans. All right, you're in the year. All right, you're playing fairly well in the first 2 weeks. All right, you are, and then all of a sudden you hit the buzzsaw that is the Minnesota Vikings. All right, you have a decent win over Indianapolis. You have a pretty good win over the Bears, and then you hit the buzzsaw that is Minnesota. Now, where are you at confidence level in this team? Do you still feel like this is a Super Bowl caliber team, or is this just a we should win the division caliber team? Where are you at? I'm going to tell you what I think. I think Minnesota has a defense that has just been insane. Their defensive coordinator, Flores, said that he specifically is he made a defense when he came to Minnesota. His whole goal, his whole thought, everything he wanted to do is make a defense that stops the Kyle Shanahan system and tree. And that's exactly what you run. It was a bad matchup for now. They'll figure it out. Everything is swings, ebbs and flows. All right? But the Texans still are one of that team. They still are that team. And when I look at this upcoming schedule, right? Jacksonville, you got to get a victory. At home against Buffalo, that is a big time. At home against Buffalo, that's a big time. Like, let's see what level we're at game. That's the first game of the year where it's two Goliaths hitting off against each other. And then, look, it's favorable. It's a favorable schedule. All right. It really is. All right. New England, favorable. Green Bay, I understand that's tricky. I get it. Second place team. Then you have at home against Indy, New York, Detroit, Dallas. It gets tough here, right here. And then the back end of the year, you have some games. Tennessee, Jacksonville. I don't know if Tua is back yet for Miami, right? Tennessee. This isn't an easiest schedule, but it's probably about the easiest first place schedule you can have just because the division isn't super, super strong. All right, so get some victories, get that season in there at 11-6, 12-5, and get yourself in the playoffs. But before that, just realize, hey, this game against Jacksonville, don't get frustrated when it's a struggle because Jacksonville is playing out of their minds. They could be terrible again. The thing with Jacksonville is you never know when they're about to go on a run. It could be this week. You never know. But Houston's the better team, and I predict that you get the victory. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.